November 7th, UPI Seattle Seahawks star Russell Wilson is my number 1 fantasy football quarterback for Week 10. NFL MVP favorite Carson Wentz, Derek Carr and Alex Smith are the top quarterbacks serving Week 10 buys. If you have one of those players on your fantasy team and don't have a replacement ready, check out my Week 10 ad drops article. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, New England Patriots star Tom Brady, Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford and Pittsburgh Steelers star Ben Roethlisberger round out my top 5 for the week. Read the descriptions below for more of my favorite Week 10 starts. Here are my top 20 options at the position this week. Top 20 Week 10 rankings below. Top shelf. Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson might be playing better than any passer in the NFL. Wilson completed 24 of 45 passes for 297 yards and 2 scores, while rushing for 77 yards in Week 9. He passed for 452 yards and 4 scores in Week 8. He now has thrown for multiple scores in 4 of his last 5 games. Look for that streak to continue in Week 10 as Wilson lines up against the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. The Cardinals are tied for allowing the 5th most fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Detroit Lions gunslinger Matthew Stafford is my number 4 option for Week 10 with a matchup against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have allowed the 7th most fantasy points per game and are tied for allowing the 3rd most touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. Stafford completed a season-best 78.8% of his passes for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns in Week 9. He has thrown for at least 300 yards in 3 consecutive games. Start him with confidence for the rest of the season. Sneaky plays. Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger passed for a season-high 317 yards in Week 8's win against the Lions and had a week off to recover. I expect him to finish off Week 10 as a top 5 option. This week he gets the Indianapolis Colts, a defense that has allowed the most passing yards and 9th most fantasy points per game to opposing passers. Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan isn't putting up an impressive response to his 2016 MVP campaign, but he should be a solid start in Week 10. He is my number 7 option for the week with a matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, a defense allowing the 12th most fantasy points per game to opposing passers. I expect the Falcons to wear it out in this home contest. Week 10 quarterback rankings. Long shots. Eli Manning and the New York Giants travel this weekend to face the San Francisco 49ers, a defense allowing the 3rd most fantasy points per game and passing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. Manning is a low-end QB1 in deeper leagues and my number 13 option this week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be without starter Jameis Winston for multiple games, opening the door for veteran quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. While Fitzpatrick isn't ever an ideal play, he could find success in Week 10 against a New York Jets defense that is allowing the most passing touchdowns and 9th most fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks.